For decades, McDonald's didn't need to explain itself. You pulled in, ordered fast, paid very little, and left full. That was the deal. That was the promise. And that was why McDonald's became the most dominant fast food chain in the world. But something has quietly changed, because today, people aren't just complaining about McDonald's prices. They're questioning the entire value of the brand. And once that happens, the damage is much bigger than a bad quarter or a slow news cycle. This is the story of how McDonald's pricing strategy broke customer trust, and why even loyal customers are starting to walk away. McDonald's was never about premium quality. It was about predictability. You knew what you were getting. You knew how long it would take. And most importantly, you knew it wouldn't hurt your wallet. That's what made it unbeatable. Families could feed multiple people without thinking twice. Workers could grab lunch without checking their bank app. Late-night runs felt harmless. That psychological safety is gone. Today, customers are pulling into McDonald's, looking at the menu board, and doing something that almost never happened before. They're hesitating, they're calculating, and in many cases, they're driving away. A combo meal that once felt cheap now costs as much as a sit-down restaurant in some markets. The value menu that defined the brand has either shrunk beyond recognition or disappeared entirely. And limited-time deals, once seen as fun bonuses, now feel like bait designed to distract from permanently higher prices. What makes this worse is that McDonald's didn't lose value because food quality skyrocketed. Portions didn't grow. Ingredients didn't dramatically improve. Service didn't suddenly become exceptional. From a customer's perspective, the product stayed mostly the same, but the price didn't. That gap is where resentment forms. Many customers say the breaking point wasn't even the first price hike. It was the realization that prices kept climbing even after inflation headlines cooled. When grocery inflation slowed, McDonald's prices didn't come back down. When supply chains stabilized, McDonald's didn't adjust. When wages normalized, the menu board stayed expensive. That sends a clear message to customers: these prices aren't temporary. And once customers believe that, behavior changes. People who used to eat at McDonald's 3 or 4 times a week start cutting back. Families stop treating it like a default option. Younger consumers, especially, begin comparing McDonald's to fast casual chains instead of other fast food. And when McDonald's loses the cheap category, it loses its strongest advantage. The company knows this. McDonald's executives have publicly discussed pricing power, menu optimization, and average check growth. Those phrases matter because they reveal a strategy focused less on traffic and more on extracting more money per visit. That can work in the short term, but it comes with risk. Fast food depends on habit. Habit depends on trust. And trust depends on customers feeling like they're getting a fair deal. Once customers feel taken advantage of, they don't just complain, they quietly change routines. And McDonald's is starting to see the signs. Social media is filled with photos of receipts that shock longtime customers. Comparisons between McDonald's and competitors highlight how little separation remains between fast food and casual dining. Even employees are acknowledging that customers are ordering less, splitting meals, or skipping sides to keep costs down. That behavior didn't exist at scale before. Another issue is inconsistency. Prices vary dramatically by location, sometimes within the same city. A meal that costs one amount in one neighborhood can be several dollars more just a few miles away. Customers notice that, and when they feel like pricing is arbitrary, trust erodes even faster. McDonald's has tried to respond with app-based deals and promotions, but that creates a new problem. Customers now feel punished for not using the app. Instead of simplicity, the experience becomes conditional. Instead of walking in and ordering, customers feel forced to hunt for discounts on their phones. That's friction, and friction kills fast food. What's especially risky is that McDonald's built its empire on being the safest choice. You didn't have to think. You didn't have to plan. You didn't have to optimize. Now, eating at McDonald's requires strategy. And once customers start strategizing, they also start comparing. That's when McDonald's becomes vulnerable. Because if you're already spending more, why not choose better food? If speed is similar, why not try something new? If prices are close, why stay loyal? That's the question more customers are asking. The bigger issue here isn't inflation, it's perception. Customers understand prices go up. What they don't accept is losing value while being told nothing has changed. When McDonald's positions itself as premium priced without delivering premium experience, it creates cognitive dissonance. And that's dangerous for a brand built on simplicity. McDonald's can survive higher prices, but it cannot survive losing its identity. If it's no longer fast, no longer cheap, and no longer easy, then what exactly is it? That question doesn't have a comforting answer. The most concerning part is that this shift may already be locked in. Once customers break habits, they rarely return at the same frequency. Even if prices stabilize, the emotional damage lingers. People remember the moment something stopped feeling worth it. And McDonald's is approaching that moment for millions of customers. This isn't a collapse story, at least not yet, but it is a warning. McDonald's didn't lose customers overnight. It slowly trained them to expect less value. And now those customers are adjusting accordingly. The brand that once represented affordability is now being associated with sticker shock. And in fast food, perception moves faster than earnings reports. The real question isn't whether McDonald's can raise prices. It's whether customers will keep showing up once the magic is gone. And judging by the receipts, many already have their answer. What makes this moment especially dangerous for McDonald's is that the company has seen this movie before, just not at this scale. In the past, when prices crept up too far or value perception slipped, customers would eventually return once promotions came back or menus were adjusted. But this time feels different because the economic environment trained customers to scrutinize every dollar. People now remember prices. They screenshot menus. They compare receipts. And once that awareness sets in, it's almost impossible to reverse. There's also a generational shift happening underneath the surface. Younger consumers didn't grow up with McDonald's as a once-in-a-while treat. They grew up with it as a default option. That means when the default breaks, they don't feel nostalgic loyalty. They feel disappointment. And disappointment is far more dangerous than anger because it doesn't motivate people to complain. It motivates them to move on. For older customers, the frustration is different. They remember when McDonald's meals fed a family without stress. They remember dollar menus that actually meant something. When those customers feel priced out, it's not just a financial issue. It feels like a broken promise. And broken promises stick longer than bad ads or slow service ever could. McDonald's leadership understands this tension, but they're stuck in a difficult position. Wall Street rewards higher margins, not higher traffic. Franchisees are dealing with rising labor, rent, and supply costs. And rolling prices backward feels like admitting the strategy went too far. So instead of a reset, the company keeps experimenting around the edges. Limited deals, app incentives, temporary value bundles, hoping to stabilize behavior without resetting expectations. But customers see through that. They can tell the difference between a real value offering and a temporary pressure valve. When a deal feels like a workaround instead of a norm, it reinforces the idea that the base price is inflated, and that only deepens the trust problem. The irony is that McDonald's doesn't need to be the cheapest option to win. It just needs to feel fair. Historically, people weren't loyal to McDonald's because it was the absolute lowest price. They were loyal because it never made them feel foolish for choosing it. That emotional equation has flipped. Now customers leave wondering whether they should have gone somewhere else. Once that doubt becomes routine, brand gravity weakens. Another overlooked risk is how price perception spreads socially. When one person feels shocked by a receipt, they share it. When enough people share the same reaction, it becomes part of the brand narrative. McDonald's used to dominate conversation with nostalgia, convenience, and familiarity. Increasingly, it's being mentioned in the same breath as not worth it anymore. That phrase is lethal in fast food, because fast food isn't supposed to be justified. It's supposed to be obvious. You don't analyze a quick meal, you default to it. The moment analysis enters the equation, speed and habit lose their advantage. And McDonald's, more than any competitor, depends on that automatic behavior. If this trajectory continues, the long-term risk isn't empty stores, it's thinner traffic spread across fewer visits. Customers don't vanish, they downgrade McDonald's in their personal hierarchy. It becomes a last resort instead of a first choice. That kind of erosion doesn't trigger alarms immediately, but it compounds quietly over time. And the company knows that once a brand loses its emotional shortcut, rebuilding it is far harder than raising prices ever was. McDonald's still has enormous strengths: global scale, unmatched real estate, operational efficiency, and cultural recognition that most brands can only dream of. But those strengths were built on an implicit contract with customers: speed, familiarity, and affordability in exchange for loyalty and habit. Right now, that contract feels strained. The question McDonald's faces isn't whether it can continue charging more. The question is whether it can convince customers that what they're paying still makes sense without forcing them to download an app, chase discounts, or rationalize the choice. Because once customers stop believing that McDonald's is the easy answer, it stops being McDonald's. And when the easiest choice disappears, so does the brand's most powerful advantage. That's the real risk hiding behind the rising prices. Not backlash, not headlines, but the quiet moment when a customer pulls into the parking lot, looks at the menu, and decides to keep driving.